Hello friends, thank you for joining me today. Today's Bible story is about forgiveness. It's about Joseph and his brothers, and I'm taking excerpts from Genesis chapters 37 to 50. Lord, bless the reading in this story. Forgiving is often misunderstood, yet forgiveness is one of the most basic Christian qualities that is just so hard for many people to apply. I believe every person has this quality inside of them, but not everyone will let it work on their hearts, particularly if their minds are not aligned with God. Forgiveness can transform our relationship with God, with others, and even with ourselves. Most people know the story of Joseph. That narrative spans 13 chapters from 37 to 50 in the book of Genesis. Joseph, who was one of the sons of Jacob, and Jacob had made a point of showing that Joseph was his favorite. So one day, Jacob had a special gift made for Joseph, a beautiful robe. But his brothers hated Joseph because their father loved him more than the rest of them. Because of this, Joseph was hated. When Joseph was 17, he had shared a dream he had had. He said, "We were out in the field tying up bundles of grain. Suddenly my bundle stood up, and your bundles all gathered around and bowed down before mine." This dream was understood and interpreted to mean that everyone in the family would bow down to him one day. This made his brothers furious. One day Jacob sent Joseph to check up on his brothers, who were away feeding the flocks. When he found them, his brothers plotted to kill him through a series of events. His brothers faked his death and sold Joseph into slavery. They showed their father Joseph's animal blood-stained coat. And Jacob mourned, and Joseph greatly. He mourned him greatly, and he sank into depression. Over the years and through many trials, Joseph was made to work as a slave in Egypt. He suffered imprisonment, false accusations, and abandonment, yet he never abandoned God. Then in chapter 41, one day everything changed in Joseph's life. So Pharaoh asked his officials, "Can we find anyone else like this man, so obviously filled with the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has revealed the meaning of the dreams to you clearly, no one else is as intelligent or wise as you are. You will be in charge of my court, and all my people will take orders from you. Only I, sitting on my throne, will have a rank higher than yours." So here Joseph rose to a position of authority, second only to Pharaoh. Because of Joseph's faithfulness, God blessed him with wisdom in dealing with the coming famine. When this famine hit, Jacob sent his sons to buy grain in Egypt. Now Joseph recognized them as his brothers, but they did not recognize him. During a series of meetings, Joseph was able to get his brothers to confess their sin concerning what they had done. Joseph then revealed himself to his brothers, and after they had been torn through a bunch of emotions, he encouraged them, telling them that what they had done had resulted in the salvation of the family from starvation. Pharaoh provided land for Joseph's family to live in Egypt, so they moved to the land and lived there. About 2 years later, Jacob died, which brought fear to Joseph's brothers, that he would execute vengeance on them for what they had done. In Genesis 50, it says, "So they sent this message to Joseph. Before your father died, he instructed us to say to you, 'Please forgive your brothers for this great wrong they did to you, for their sin in treating you so cruelly. So we, the servants of God, of your father, beg you to forgive our sin.'" When Joseph received the message, he broke down and wept. Then his brothers came and threw themselves down before Joseph. "Look, we are your slaves," they said. But Joseph replied, "Don't be afraid of me. Am I God that I can punish you? You intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many people. No, don't be afraid. I will continue to take care of you and your children." So he reassured them by speaking kindly to them. When they came and bowed to him, they must have realized the meaning of Joseph's dreams so many years ago. This type of forgiveness in Old Testament Hebrew is kapar, meaning atonement, which refers to a cluster of ideas centering on the cleaning of impurity, which needs to be done to prevent God from leaving the temple or the body. In this story, by forgiving his brothers, Joseph had God's blessing. And that's the end of the story of forgiveness of Joseph and of his brothers. Forgiveness given, forgiveness received. Forgiveness is possible because God acts to take away the sin that makes us guilty. So have you forgiven? Are you cleansed by the blood of the Lamb? Cleansed of hate and unforgiveness to stand clean before God? Be blessed.